Hello everyone, I'm Rebecca and this is my new moon report from Pillars of the Moon. Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing well. Yeah, we've been a little bit unwell in our house this week, so I'm still on the recovering end of that. So if I'm clearing my throat, that's why. I've got some water with me. Yeah, so here we are in the dark of the moon, as we come to the end of this epic and transformational lunar journey. So, we started the new moon with the moon and the sun conjunct Pluto. So this whole journey, this lunar cycle, has been a lot to do with Pluto. It's been about diving deep into the soil, into the body of ourselves, into our emotions and our feelings and our desires, and now actually today in the lifetime sky, the dark moon is aligned with Pluto again. So it's like we're coming to this completion time, and the dark of the moon to me always feels like a really good homecoming feeling. It's after the descent, after we've had the waning energy, and we get to that dark womby place, and it's like, those of you that are bleeding around the new moon or the dark moon, it's a time of just wanting to go into the cave and just like, it's like a real homecoming feeling. So if you can, take that space for the next few days until we come to the new moon on Thursday, which is the 11th of February, and maybe take some time in this dark womb space to really rest and replenish ourselves after this big journey that we've had. So I'm going to talk to you about the next lunar cycle today, and I'll be talking mostly about the first quarter moon and the full new moon and the first quarter, and then in 2 weeks I'll talk about the full moon and last quarter. But it's good to talk about a whole picture as well, because we go through 4 seasons in a cycle. So we have like this building, waxing energy of like the spring. It's like the inhale, and then we get to the full moon, and it's like the fullness of the cycle and the top of the inhale, that high point of the cycle. And then we start to exhale, and then we get our waning energy. We start to let go and release, reflect. It's like the autumn and the waning moon. And then you get to the bottom of the exhale, which is where we are now, in that, the bottom point. It's the lowest energy point. It's the winter. It's that deep, resting, quiet space within. And that void space is where all things are born from. It's from the womb. So this is where we are now, and when the new moon comes again, it's like that inhale, fresh new energy, a new cycle. So 4 seasons in a moon cycle, and we can live that in our breath, in our moon cycle, in our menstrual cycle, and then in the seasons of the year. For us who are in the northern hemisphere, we are in that time of just like the turning point after the winter. We've just celebrated Imbolc last week. So now we're at that turning point where we start to inhale again. We feel that shifting energy, and we see the flowers starting to come. And it's like that energy that's coming now. So I've just been using on my computer, actually, the Stellarium web app for looking at the lifetime sky. So I'm going to share that screen with you. I haven't been using it on the computer for very long, so do please bear with me if I'm a bit like rusty with it. But anyway, so this is today. This is the time down here. I'm hoping that you can all see that okay. So you can see this is the lifetime sky, and this is the red line is the ecliptic, and so you can see all the constellations that are along the ecliptic. And so yeah, we've got, this is the sun, obviously in the sign of Capricorn, still in the lifetime sky. You can see the constellation of Capricorn here. And we've got Jupiter and Venus coming into exact meeting on the time of the new moon. So at the moment, they're not quite together. I'll just zoom in on them for you. But by the time of the new moon, so I'll move forward to that in a moment. At the time of the new moon, Venus will be with Jupiter and the moon will be with the sun. So yeah, all in the sign of Capricorn. So we've got a bit of a Capricorn party happening. And I'll be talking a lot about that throughout this report. So I'm just going to pop in Pluto in here because there you are. So you can see actually the moon is just past Pluto. That's where Pluto is. Can't really. There he is. So you can see this is the dark moon has just crossed over Pluto. So it had like that a few hours ago when I first looked, you know, it was actually the moon was lined up with Pluto. So obviously that's shifted now because the moon moves quite quickly. Yeah. So moving forward, I'm going to change the date on here to the 11th. Yeah, and then let's change the time. So the new moon time will be in the GMT time zone. We're looking at 19:05. Be the exact time of the new moon. So let's have a look what's going on then. So you can see now the moon has moved to join the sun, and this is still in Capricorn, obviously. Venus is right next to Jupiter. This is a life-saving alignment, but a really great alignment. I mean, Jupiter and Venus together brings blessings and fortune, harmony and gain, you know, because Venus is about our heart and our values and love and connection. And then Jupiter is about expansion and abundance, you know. So these two coming together at the time of this new moon is really, really great, actually. It's like a real blessing to have these two together. And then something else I wanted to talk about in regards to the lifetime sky is something that I've been really fascinated about recently, which is the Behenian stars. So the Behenian stars are 15 fixed stars that are, well, they used to be, and I don't know if they still are, but they are to me, the stars of the alchemists. And the ancient people used to use these fixed stars. They believed that these particular stars were like the root or the source of astrological influence. And when planets came into alignment with them, you know, they would use that to their benefit by doing rituals and making potions and talismans and anchoring the energies of each of these particular stars into talismans and stones and things like that. And so this new moon is aligned with a Behenian star called Deneb Algedi. I don't know if I said that right. Deneb Algedi, that sounds right. So this is the fixed Behenian star, which is in the constellation of Capricornus. So this is a really, it feels to me like really significant thing. Obviously the sun will cross over this every year, the moon every month, but you know, I don't know how often they come like this in complete alignment, you know, and at the same time as Venus and Jupiter coming into their exact alignment. And so all of the Behenian stars have got their, I guess, signifying attributes, things that they have been used for. And so it's interesting because this particular star is connected to wisdom, integrity, upholding justice, balance, and fairness. And so when you think about this new moon around this star, it could be a really powerful, potent time to work with those energies of wisdom, integrity, justice, balance, and fairness, and to the intentions that we're setting on this new moon and the seeds that we're planting for this next cycle. really focused on those things. So, and it's also really interesting as well, because I saw her earlier. I don't know if I'll be able to find her now, but Pallas was around somewhere. Where are you, Pallas? Let's search for her. This is an asteroid. It's in our asteroid belt. Yay, here she is. So Pallas is connected to Athena, which is connected to truth and justice and balance. And so, if you look at that, like, wow, Pallas is in exact, oh, where'd she go? She was here somewhere, wasn't she? Pallas is in exact alignment with this as well at the time of the new moon. So that's really significant. I also just want to zoom out and show you, I was talking about Cygnus last month. Here's the constellation Cygnus. You can see it's a cross. Oh, isn't that amazing? And so there's a star in Cygnus called Deneb. And I mentioned this last month. So Deneb features massively in the Cygnus Mystery book that I was showing you last month. And Deneb is apparently one of those stars that has been used to bring through divine light to the earth at certain points. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the star in Cygnus is called Deneb, and then the star in Capricorn is called Deneb Algedi. So it's kind of like, there's some synchronicities happening here between the Deneb in Cygnus, the swan, and Capricornus, and this new moon energy. So yeah, really powerful time to be connecting with that divine energy in ourselves, and all of the incredible gifts of Capricorn as well. And yeah, so just zooming out of this, and I think I'm going to come away from this one now. But look at this, isn't it amazing? You can see all of the sky. So check it out, guys. Come on to this Stellarium web online, and you can get it on your phone as well. It's just a way of looking at the stars. So obviously in Western astrology, they place this new moon in the stars of Aquarius, but you can quite clearly see that they are still in right at the end of Capricorn. Capricorn and Aquarius do kind of overlap. You can see here, like, this is also the stars of Aquarius, but this is Capricorn. So it's funny, isn't it? They join together and they overlap. And I was talking about last month the Vesica Pisces and the masculine and feminine that overlap and that come together in two whole beings, two whole energies coming together. So it's fascinating how, to me, Capricorn is the sky father and Aquarius is like the sky mother. So these two energies, to me, because they're interjoined, it feels like the Vesica Pisces energy. And of course, what is created from their union, what is made, is Pisces. This is the fish, So, and when you think about Aquarius being the water bearer, and we are water, she is the holder of new life in her chalice or her well, the womb. And I really I'm just going to stop sharing this now, because I also want to share this image of the Egyptian goddess Nui. So here she is. So you can see the Egyptian goddess Nui. This is a picture of her. And so she's quite often drawn as like that overarching night goddess of all the stars and everything. She's in that kind of downward dog pose thing. But this is an image that I got of her because in this image she has a chalice on her head. And so she is the mother of the sky in Egyptian mythology. She is one of the oldest goddesses and is connected to being the mother of the gods, or the birther of the gods. And so my intuition and instinct really feels a synergy between these two energies of Aquarius and we. Aquarius is usually considered in much of astrology to be androgynous, so to embody both masculine and feminine. And, you know, when you think about the chalice being like the womb or the feminine, and the stars inside being like the light or the seeds of the masculine, you know, like the sperm. It's like she's got a bucket full of sperm or something, and that is the embodiment of Aquarius. And it's like Capricorn is the masculine energy that is penetrating into that. And Capricorn being a cardinal sign, you know, it's like he's climbing and he's shooting his arrow. And that is the masculine ascending energy of Capricorn. So I'm just going to calm away from this now. Hi, everyone. I'm going to share with you the chart for, let me see. Hopefully you can see, this is the lifetime sky again, but and I found this about the constellation Aquarius. I'm hoping you can see all of this. Look, Aquarius is, you know, you have to do a bit of Googling on things. But the constellation of Aquarius is recognized as one of the oldest constellations. How amazing is that? And it contains like quite a lot of nebulas, and like the Helix Nebula, the Saturn Nebula. I find all this really fascinating, you know, because nebulas are birthplace of baby stars. Yeah, so I find all these kind of things fascinating. And you can see here in the Babylonian star catalogues, Aquarius was considered the great one. So yeah, I feel like this new cycle is so connected to Aquarius, because the sun will be moving into Aquarius soon during this cycle. So at the new moon, here you go, here's the chart for the new moon. You can see the sun and the moon right at the end of Capricorn. And by the time we get to the first quarter moon, which is on the 19th, then the sun would have just moved into Aquarius. So yeah, so we're starting in Capricorn. So let's talk about Capricorn first. Who is Capricorn? Well, Capricorn is like the ascending energy, and I always imagine a mountain goat. You know, I don't know if any of you've ever seen them, like on the side of mountains, and they just climb and they climb and they climb. You know, so it's really themes about endurance. You know, when you think about climbing a mountain, sometimes you see them hanging off the edge of the mountain, and they're just, it's really character building to work with this challenge and the obstacles that can be presented by Capricorn. You know, it reminds me of a pilgrimage or a spiritual spiritual journey, because, you know, these signs, as I spoke about before, like this is really the inner journey. This is not so much out in the physical. If you look at the chart for this new moon, you know, it's all over this side in between the nodes. I'm going to draw on it. So you can see that it's really over this side. And so we've got Vesta over here, which she's the only one, the asteroid, because I use all the goddess asteroids in my reading, and she's the only one over this side. But everything else, and our ascendant obviously, everything else is over here in the inner realms. And so what is this telling us? You know, this is a time of withdrawing. It's a time of retreat. It's an inner journey, and we are being called to go within. We're being called to reflect and face some really big obstacles this cycle, because, you know, there's this massive square between Mars, who is in Aries, and pretty much all of the stuff that's in Capricorn. So it's like squaring everything, Mars, at the moment. And so Mars can be connected to aggression, can be connected to the warrior and our will, you know. So, and a square, when you think about a square, it's like a box. So it's a challenging time, and we could feel boxed in by our own limiting patterns or our own ideas that keep us in this box. We might feel restricted. We might feel like, yeah, that basically there's things stopping us from getting to where we want to go. And that could be old patterns. It could be a governmental lockdown system for COVID, or whatever it is that's making this square, you know, is really it's a gift as well. You know, squares are a gift. They are bringing us into deeper understanding of our limitations. You know, a square is a box. It's a limiting in many ways. So this new moon beginning in Capricorn, it's like, okay, we are beginning. We are going on this inner journey, this spiritual journey, and to really, you know, focusing on wisdom and integrity, justice, balance, and fairness. So when we're thinking about we're going on this inner journey with Capricorn, and we're climbing up the mountain, you know, this last cycle, you know, we've done the deep inner work, we've done the shadow work with Pluto, that this last cycle that we're coming to the end of now. So this new cycle that we're beginning on the 11th is a spiritual journey of ascending from the dark and coming to a place of universal love. You know, when you think about Jupiter and Venus together at the time of this new moon, it's really like, this is a really powerful alignment, very fortunate alignment, very magical in so many ways. And so Capricorn can be connected to our career, and Aries is about, you know, we are looking at being a new person, a new being. So this is a personal restructuring time. Excuse me. It's a time of restructuring who we are, Mars, Aries, and Uranus is in Aries as well. And this is also in square to all this Capricorn stuff. So yeah, we are restructuring who we believe we are, who we feel we are, our identity, and maybe our careers. And so we'll be thinking a lot about our careers and what we're here to do, what we want to do, what's important to us. And, you know, Venus in Jupiter is such an abundant energy, you know, so if we are really, really tuning into this for ourselves with wisdom and integrity, it's like, okay, with the integrity, you know, what is it I really want to do for myself and for my family and for everyone? What did I come here? What is my soul here to share? And then through the cycle that we're going to then come into our waxing moon, first quarter moon, on the 19th. And this first quarter moon, you know, will be in Taurus. And so this could be like, we're starting to look at our finances. We're looking at money, values, our body, beauty. And so this could bring us into a more materialistic kind of thing on the first quarter moon. But actually, with all of this inner journey, you know, we are still very internal in this. So it feels like, you know, this is a time of planning. This is a time of setting down foundations. You know, we could be writing business plans, or yeah, because the moon in Taurus is about physical things. So we might be starting to say, okay, this is what I really feel I want to do with my life, my career, or whatever. So I'm going to start making physical actions with Mars and Aries to start getting it going. But we might find, with all this square energy, we will maybe face with obstacles. We're climbing this mountain and there may be a rock falls down, or, there's a storm coming in. But the goat stays on the mountain, it's like it just keeps going. This is the real gift of Capricorn, is this endurance and discipline and patience. And you will get there. You will. And he's the wise old goat, and because of all of these journeys that he's done, all of these spiritual journeys and pilgrimages, it's like he's come to this place of deep wisdom. And so this cycle does feel about coming into deep wisdom in ourselves through doing the inner work and looking at ourselves and really tuning into our values and our hearts. So just popping over to the full moon, which will be in Leo, which will be on the 27th of February in the GMT time zone. Wow, so we've got a beautiful, like a yod formation going on here, which is like a kite type thing. So you can see it's all pointing down to this Leo energy. And so we may be really looking at, because, Leo is about creativity and gifts and leadership. So this full moon, which will be coming into the fullness of the cycle, we may be starting to really start to express those gifts and share some of them. But there is a really interesting alignment with Chiron and Ceres. Ceres is all about nurture. Chiron is all about our wounds. So this is like the top point of the kite. And then we've got Pluto involved as well. And so we're really looking at deep healing, deep rebirthing, nurturing, and being so much on this side. It's like, wow, we really just need to be with ourselves and all these feelings. We could start doing like vision boarding, setting down plans, reflecting on our lives, on ourselves. And by the time we get to this full moon, that could be coming really clear to us, really clear that this is what we're here to do. The sun is also meeting with Venus, look at that, yummy, on the full moon. And so they're going to be joining Neptune at the end of Aquarius. And so, Venus in Aquarius is universal love. So it's like the collective love, it's community love, it's like consciousness, love, union. That's the Aquarian energy, and with Venus there, it's super yummy. So the full moon looks pretty hot with all the fire of Leo and our creativity. But like I said, with all of the energy being up here above the nodes, could be feeling still like quite internal, but just coming into more of an understanding of what we're here to share and what our gifts are. And by the time we get to the last quarter moon, so the last quarter moon will be on the 6th of March. So we will be conjunct the south node. So the south node of the moon is still in a focus in the lifetime sky. And so the moon being conjunct the south node could have us going into the past, reflecting a lot about things that have happened during our life, past lives, really, because the focus is the doctor, and it's making our poison into medicine. So that which has challenged us, is actually our greatest gift. That which nearly kills us, you think of the Capricorn, the goat climbing the mountain, you'll find so much wisdom from that, that rites of passage that we've been on. And so this last quarter moon and the waning moon, could really have us coming deep into this reflection about the gifts, the medicine that we're finding from the challenges. Because with all the square between Mars and Capricorn energy, there's a really interesting relationship, this cycle that we'll be looking at and feeling. So by the time we get to the last quarter moon, it's like, oh my goodness, like let's make medicine. This is what our focus is, you know, it's the medicine man or woman, the alchemist. And yeah, taking the poison, the snake poison, the venom, and making something useful from it. You know, learning from these challenges, learning from illnesses, learning from what is it teaching me? You know, what is the gift of all of this? And then we get to our new moon, which would be in Pisces on the 13th of March. That'll be our next cycle. And look at this, everyone. Like, I just want to show you this here. Oh my goodness. So we've got Venus conjunct Neptune in Aquarius. The moon and sun would just be at the beginning of Pisces, next to the great nurturer Ceres and our healer Chiron. So this is like healing, nurturing, universal love, the dream. Yeah, so this next cycle, the next new moon, it's like, wow. And of course, still all on this inner journey, all into the retreating. Of course, we're all going to stop bursting out of the ground real soon, like the daffodils, but we are still in the womb. We're still in the end of the winter. And so after doing the journey, you know, the winter journey, and we come into spring, when we've really done this spiritual rite of passage that is the winter, we've met with our inner wisdom of Capricorn and the cosmic mother of Aquarius. We've given birth to the child of Pisces. You know, this is what this new moon will be about. It's about birthing and the child and that light within, which is created only when we've done the work to meet with these aspects or archetypes within ourselves. Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing that now. I'm just wondering if there's anything else I want to share. It's amazing new cycle. Yes, there may be challenges, but just think of a goat that's climbing a really rocky mountain. You might have snow, it might be cold. Just keep going. Remember that we're starting with this cardinal energy of Capricorn to really go in and go in deep. And then we'll meet, you know, when the sun goes to Aquarius, we'll be meeting with the cosmic mother within ourselves and finding this universal love. Like, wow, it's so beautiful. And by the time we get to the full moon, you know, we'll be in Leo and we'll be really looking at expressing our gifts and that universal love that we've received. Maybe not so much in an external way, but really feeling it within and embodying it. And then, yeah, as we start to wane away and our last quarter moon is in a focus, you know, we get to meet with our medicine and how we're going to transform the challenges that we've met throughout the cycle and make them useful. Make our elixir with the energies. And so, yeah, it's a really powerful cycle, especially with the new moon being aligned to Deneb Algedi, the Behenian star from the stars of the alchemists. Check them out, it's so interesting. I've just done a chart actually for one of my dear friends who's got an incredible alignment with the Behenian star Spica, which is in the constellation Virgo. She's got like 5 planets clustered around Spica, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. So if you want me to look at your chart and see what alignments you have and everything, please just get in contact. I would love to do that for you. Yeah, so enjoying the next couple of days in the womb of the dark of the moon, and then on Thursday 19:05 in the GMT time zone, it's the 11th of Feb, powerful new moon, you know, to really connect with Capricorn and wisdom, integrity, so we can come into more balance in our lives and fairness. Really important things to be anchoring right now for ourselves and our families and our communities. Okay, everyone, that's all. I love you all so much and look forward to speaking to you in 2 weeks. Mwah! So much love. Ciao for now.